real ones know that the real New Year starts in the spring. This is really your time to shine, so let's talk about how to make the most of this season. Welcome back to the Stella Rae Podcast, y'all. Don't forget to follow if you haven't already and comment your thoughts on anything I talk about down below. I think it's so funny that we celebrate New Year's and set all these resolutions when we're still in winter. We're just not our full potential in the winter. I truly believe that winter is a time to hibernate, to lock in. The winter arc trend was really big this past year, and that's kind of what the winter is for. So in January, when we're seeing all of these posts and articles and things about New Year's resolutions, I do think it's a time to kind of lock in and make the most of that winter arc, hibernation, workflow. Maybe you're going hard in the gym, but I know a lot of people don't start to really see and feel the forward momentum until spring, which is totally valid. And I think we need to normalize that because it's just what makes the most sense. It is officially spring now, and spring marks, blooming, regrowth, new beginnings. And every year I look back on, I always think of the spring as when that year kind of started. Like, that's when things start to happen that kind of define that year. And this is not to say that January and February, part of March and maybe the previous winter months are useless or that there's no benefit to them. But again, that's kind of more of our hibernation zone. And if you look at this from an astrological perspective, it completely checks out. So the astrological calendar actually starts with Aries season, which just started actually, I believe it was on the spring equinox, so towards the end of March. And Aries is a fire sign. We're starting things off. Fiery beginnings, a lot of energy, heated, energy of forward momentum. So we can take all that we've learned and worked on in our winter arc, put it to use now, put it into action, and start to really see and feel those results of long-lasting change. But don't get me wrong, if you don't have things figured out yet, or you feel like you didn't have a winter arc, like winter was just, it was what it was, you can still use the fiery energy of Aries season and even just of spring and of seeing things bloom outside to find what it is that you need to do and where you need to direct your energy for the rest of this year. And regardless, I think everybody should be setting goals during Aries season and during these first few weeks of spring, because again, we will have that energy and I think a lot more hope, when it's lighter, longer outside, when you can hear the birds singing, start to see flowers bloom, things start to sprout up. It's like, okay, things are actually changing. There's light at the end of the tunnel. We're not just stuck in this dark cycle, literally. So on the topic of setting goals and finding purpose, I have definitely had periods of my life where I don't really know what the next step is. I don't even know where to put my energy, where to direct things. Sometimes it's like, okay, get out of your comfort zone or do this or do that, but it's like, I don't even know where to begin. And this can be very overwhelming. So I think what I really would 1000% recommend and urge you to do is start by taking things away. Because often when we think of setting goals and fresh starts, we think of adding things and okay, I need to be waking up earlier. You could come up with a long list of everything you could be adding to your routine, adding to your day, things you want to accomplish. And sometimes, that's great if you're in that kind of mindset. But if you're not, something that can be so helpful is taking things away, taking away that extra screen time, taking away that much caffeine, that much alcohol, practicing saying no to people, removing certain relationships or just spending less time with people that maybe aren't adding to your life in a beneficial way. And that's not to say you have to cut everyone off unless that's literally what you need to do. Sometimes you need to distance yourself from that to realign with yourself and refocus your energy. I really believe that we only have so much energy per day, and especially as women, our energy levels change so much throughout the month. Each week feels so differently just due to our hormone cycles. And so if you are wanting to level up, to glow up, and to kind of get your life together or even just switch directions, it's really important that you are aware of all the ways and directions that your energy is flowing. This is why I think so many women especially are able to accomplish so much. After a breakup, for example, that's a really common example, or even just if you're single and not dating or looking, because all of that energy and mental space that would be going towards somebody else, especially if it's a toxic situation or a bad situation, you can put all of that energy into what it is you actually want to do. And in that gap in between, like when you're not knowing, when you're taking away things, it just allows for space for your subconscious to come up and kind of give you guidance. The older I get, the more spiritual I get, I truly believe. Sometimes you can just get answers and things will come to you like in a dream or when you're in the shower or when you're meditating. You'll just have this idea or like some coincidence will happen. You'll run into someone randomly and like get an opportunity, or like it's the butterfly effect, you know, like so many things can happen that you're not necessarily controlling or like setting up, but it's up to you to align yourself with that frequency, for lack of a better term, in order to be able to see, hear, and realize those opportunities around you. Because if all of your energy is going towards like, oh, I hate this sucks, or like, I don't know, even just recovering from being hungover, or like, what should I text this guy? And you're spending so many hours of the day like trying to figure out what to say, or like, why isn't he texting me back? It's like all of that mental awareness and even like spiritual energy could be going not even to something else, but it could just be like preserved. And you're almost more open because you have the mental space, the capacity to receive these kind of winks or messages from the universe, and just even like from your subconscious, you know. It's kind of scientific in the sense of like whatever you are choosing to focus on is what you are going to focus on. Your brain only consciously allows you to be aware of so much. Like if you're walking down the street, especially like a busy New York street, it's like if you're on point, you're going to notice a lot of little things happening. But if you truly were aware of everything, that would be so overwhelming. So your brain picks and chooses what to focus on, you know? And that's why sometimes you know, like a car is going to come or a bike is going to come before it actually does. Like you step back before you mentally realize because your subconscious was peeping it. So we can kind of use this to our advantage when it comes to redirecting our energy, in the sense of focusing on what truly is important to us. And that's why I think practicing gratitude is such a huge help and such a great tool to kind of redirecting your energy, because instead of like constantly feeling this lack feeling or this stress, I'm focusing on feelings of wholeness, of like appreciation, of like positivity, of looking for ways, like not scrambling, like looking for ways, but just kind of like keeping an eye out for opportunities that are in my best interest and that are aligned with my goals and like what I want to do with my life. I really think of it as almost like a bubble. And when you're walking around with this bubble filled, like your energetic bubble, when it's filled with just kind of trash, like if your screen time is like 84 hours a day and like you're super invested in all this celebrity tea, and I'm not saying like any of that is bad. It's not like, oh, if you know about the Selena and Haley gossip, like you are not like directing your energy well. Like sometimes let's be real, like some people be a little too invested. But again, when you are in that season of kind of redirecting your energy, it's like little habits go a long way. For example, I had to catch myself the other day. I have this book I'm reading that I want to finish because it's due at the library. And I sat down and was about to scroll on TikTok. And I was like, let me actually grab my book instead, because that is actually going to be helpful for me. Not that I never scroll, but you know, it's like little habits like that. You just have to be mindful of them so you can catch them. And I truly believe that change comes from these little habits every single day, which is kind of a relief, because a lot of the times when we have this big goal or goals, it's like, it feels like a mountain, like Play the Climb by Miley Cyrus, because it's like, oh my God. But when you can look at every day as an opportunity to practice, you know, moving in that direction, you can kind of think of it as a game, you know, and you're literally building your tolerance for, in a lot of instances, it's like discomfort, you know, it's like I'm comfortable scrolling on TikTok, I'm comfortable not making eye contact with anyone, like not making small talk when they're making my coffee or something. I don't know, like little things like that. So when you're constantly almost challenging yourself, like, okay, I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. I'm going to get up a little bit earlier today. I'm going to read instead of scroll. I'm going to go to bed a little bit earlier instead of like staying up scrolling or whatever. These things really add up and change your energetic path. And I think that is like really where kind of the magic happens, because so much time can go by and you look back, like every day it's like, okay, a little bit, but then you travel a long ways, you know? And you look back and it's like, wow, that was just due to little habits. I think weight loss is another big example. So many people have lost so much weight just by hitting 10,000 steps a day. You know, it's like, it's not like they're doing these crazy HIIT workouts every day. Like, I mean, some people do that, I'm sure, but literally just walking every day, you will lose weight. In our world, we're so used to these, you know, instant results, dramatic before and afters. We want things fast. We have short attention spans. We want the instant gratification. And so when you can play the long game and do things right, like actually get out of your comfort zone, actually be able to self-reflect. Why am I feeling this way? Why do I feel the urge to like do this unhealthy habit? Or you're building such a stronger foundation, you're less likely to burn out. And it's not like this, somebody commented like, I love your vocab because I said rickety. So it's not like you're building this rickety foundation where you're going to fall apart, you know, as soon as you do reach your goals, because there's so much pressure and you're like relying on, I don't know, I actually rewatched The Wolf of Wall Street. It's like you're building this rickety path to success where you're scamming people, you're relying on substances to keep going, and it's like literally, to say the least. And it ends in your demise. You fail because it was a rickety foundation that you were building. But when you can build a healthy path that is sustainable and one that is actually rewiring your brain to feel good doing healthy things, I don't want to say you're unstoppable because like life happens, we can't control everything, but you're just gonna feel so much better and be able to actually think clearly and be able to achieve your goals in a way where you feel like you actually achieved something rather than just like looking to the next thing or like, oh my God, I'm like so anxiety ridden, I can't even enjoy this success because it doesn't feel like success. It's also really important to remember, going back to astrology, that it is Venus retrograde, officially Mercury retrograde. And Venus retrograde is all about, you know, relationships, love, that kind of thing. And then Mercury retrograde, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, is like communication, technology, just kind of plans not going as expected, like annoying stuff. But also throughout these retrogrades, and it's also eclipse season as well, it is a really great time to reflect. Again, just take a step back from the external noise and allow space for those answers to come up. And sometimes it's not answers, it's more like, okay, this is coming up again. I'm thinking about this a lot. Like, I had a dream about this person. Do I feel something unresolved? And when you can pay attention to those, not like those voices, but like those kind of thoughts that are a little below the surface, like of your conscious, listening to them, releasing them can help so much as well in determining your path and even just clearing your path. It's also a really good time to plan things. So while we do have this really fiery energy of Aries season, it's like, okay, let's put it more towards planning, feeling the optimism of spring, and again, just really working on building that solid foundation so that the rest of the year is aligned to, and we can be our best selves. Retrogrades are also a really great time to declutter, whether that's digitally, socially, literally just your closet. I finally donated so many clothes that had been sitting there for months. I'm not even kidding. I don't know why that always feels like the biggest task in the world. But yeah, reorganizing, doing some spring cleaning. And again, that doesn't literally just mean your home. It definitely could and should. But yeah, just clearing things out and letting go of the old so we can bring in the new. So definitely be patient with yourself. Again, work on those everyday habits. Just remember that every day is an opportunity. I don't want to say to work on yourself, because sometimes sometimes you just need rest. Like, what you need is like to chill. So it's not like, I don't know, when I say that, I think of an image of like, you're always like being productive, and like, if you're in that kind of mode, take advantage of it, you know, go all out. But every day is an opportunity to check in with yourself and to adjust, to again realign yourself with your path. Don't be afraid to pivot, don't be afraid to cry. And just pay attention to where you might be holding yourself back and where you're getting in your own way. So we got this, y'all. Spring is such a magical time. But there is so much stress in the world, you know, on a global scale to our individual lives. And taking care of ourselves, prioritizing ourselves, and like again, building that solid foundation where we're not going to burn out, we're going to feel good, we're going to give ourselves what we need, we're going to set those boundaries, we're going to only align ourselves with what feels right in like a healthy way, you know? And there is really so much power in hope and optimism and being able to see a vision of a healthier world and a better world. So again, that goes for a global scale, but also for yourself on the individual level. So I would love to hear what some of your spring New Year's resolutions are. How is retrograde going for you so far? And what is one thing that helps you stay on track? Thank you guys so much for watching or listening, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye, everyone.